What if I told you that 90% of professional footballers would change everything about their career if they could go back in time? That the same mistakes are being made by millions of players around the world right now, costing them their dreams? Today, we're diving deep into the 7 critical lessons that separate the legends from the forgotten, the superstars from the Sunday League players. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why most players only learn these truths when it's already too late. Picture this: Lionel Messi at 13 years old, standing just 1.4 meters tall, being told by multiple clubs that he's too small to ever make it in professional football. Fast forward to today, and he's won 8 Ballon d'Ors and is considered by many as the greatest player of all time. But here's what most people don't know about Messi's journey, and it's connected to our first lesson that changes everything. Lesson 1. Your physical limitations don't define your ceiling. The biggest lie in football is that you need to be tall, fast, or incredibly strong to succeed. This myth destroys more careers than injuries ever will. Let's talk numbers that will shock you. The average height of a Premier League player is 1.82 meters. Sound tall, right? But some of the most successful players in history break this mold completely. Lionel Messi stands at just 1.70 meters and weighs 72 kilograms. By traditional football standards, he shouldn't have dominated sport. Instead, he's won the Ballon d'Or multiple times, lifted the Champions League, Copa America, and the World Cup, and is widely considered the greatest footballer of all time. How is this possible? The answer lies in football intelligence and technique. While other players spend hours in the gym trying to get bigger and stronger, the smartest players focus on what actually matters: quick decision-making, precise passing, spatial awareness, and understanding the game at a deeper level. These skills don't care about your height or weight. Xavi Hernandez, at 1.70 meters, controlled the Barcelona and Spain midfield for over a decade. His secret? He could see the game 3 moves ahead while everyone else was focused on the ball at their feet. This is the difference between playing football and understanding football. But here's the tragic part, and pay close attention because this could save your career right now. Thousands of talented players quit every year because they believe they're not physically gifted enough. They compare themselves to Cristiano Ronaldo's 1.87 meter frame or Virgil van Dijk's 1.95 meter presence and assume they'll never make it. This is the first mistake that costs dreams. Your physical attributes are just tools. It's how you use them that matters. Andrea Pirlo wasn't the fastest, strongest, or most athletic player on the pitch, but his ability to dictate tempo and pick passes made him irreplaceable for club and country well into his late 30s. Lesson 2. Technical skills beat everything, but only if you start early enough. This is where most parents and young players get it completely wrong, and it's heartbreaking to witness. There's a critical window in football development that most people miss entirely, and once it's gone, it's nearly impossible to get back. Between the ages of 6 and 12, your brain is like a sponge. This is when you can develop that magical first touch, that instinctive ball control that separates professionals from amateurs. Brazilian players dominate world football, not because they're genetically superior, but because they're touching the ball thousands of times more than their European counterparts from an early age. But here's what's shocking. The average English Academy player touches the ball for just 11 minutes during a typical training session. Meanwhile, a street footballer in Sao Paulo or Buenos Aires might have thousands of touches in a single afternoon. This isn't coincidence. It's a reason why South American players often have superior technical skills. Pelé once said something that should terrify every parent pushing their child into structured football too early. In Brazil, we don't train players. We let them play. This philosophy created arguably the most technically gifted footballers in history. The lesson here is brutal but necessary. If you're reading this and you're over 16, you've likely missed the optimal window for developing world-class technical skills. But don't stop watching, because the remaining lessons can still transform your game and potentially save your career. For younger players and parents listening, understand this. Prioritize ball mastery over everything else. Forget about tactics. Forget about winning matches at under 10 level. Focus exclusively on getting as many touches as possible. Juggling, close control, both feet, different surfaces. This foundation is everything. Lesson 3. The mental game is 80% of football, but it's taught last. This lesson destroys more professional careers than injuries, poor technique, or physical limitations combined. And the scariest part? Most players only discover its importance when they're already facing retirement. Let me share a statistic that will change how you view football forever. Studies show that at professional level, the technical difference between players is minimal. The gap between a Premier League starter and a substitute is rarely about skill. It's about mental strength, decision-making under pressure, and psychological resilience. Consider Marcus Rashford's 2022 season versus his 2023 form. Same player, same physical abilities, but completely different mental states leading to vastly different performances. This isn't unique to Rashford. It's the norm in professional football. Sergio Ramos played 671 matches for Real Madrid. In the biggest moments, Champions League finals, El Clásicos, World Cup knockouts, he never looked nervous. This wasn't natural talent. It was trained mental strength. The difference between Ramos and players who crumble under pressure isn't physical. It's psychological preparation. But here's the tragedy. Most football academies spend 90% of their time on physical and technical training and maybe 10% on mental preparation. This is backwards. At elite level, everyone can pass, shoot, and run. What separates the legends from the forgotten is what happens in their mind during crucial moments. Zinedine Zidane's greatest performances came in the biggest matches. World Cup finals, Champions League finals, when 80,000 people were watching and millions more on television. This wasn't coincidence. He trained his mind as rigorously as his body. Lesson 4. Your career peak isn't when you think it is. This might be the most important lesson for every footballer watching, and it's the one that could add years to your career or help you make better decisions about your future. The conventional wisdom about football careers is not just wrong, it's dangerously misleading. Everyone believes footballers peak at 26 to 28 years old. This myth has convinced countless players to make career-defining decisions based on false assumptions. Let's destroy this myth with facts that will change your perspective forever. Luka Modric won his first Ballon d'Or at age 33. At an age when most players are considering retirement, he was being recognized as the best player in the world. Karim Benzema scored 44 goals in 46 matches at age 34, his most prolific season ever. These aren't exceptions. They represent a new reality in modern football. The truth is that there are multiple peaks in a footballer's career, and understanding this can transform your approach to development and longevity. Your physical peak might be at 26, but your tactical peak could be at 30, and your leadership peak might be at 35. Francesco Totti played at the highest level until age 40. His secret wasn't superior genetics. It was adapting his game as his body changed. At 25, he was a dynamic attacking midfielder. At 35, he became a deep-lying playmaker with unmatched vision and passing range. Same player, evolved game. This evolution requires something most players never develop: self-awareness and adaptability. Players who understand their changing strengths and weaknesses can extend their careers by a decade. Those who don't are usually finished by 30. Lesson 5. Networking and relationships matter more than talent. This lesson will make you uncomfortable, and it should. It challenges everything we want to believe about football being a pure meritocracy where talent always rises to the top. The reality is far more complex and, frankly, more unfair than most people realize. Consider this scenario. Player A has exceptional technical skills, great physical attributes, and strong mental resilience. Player B is good, but not exceptional in any area. However, Player B gets the professional contract while Player ends up in non-league football. How is this possible? The answer lies in relationships, connections, and understanding the business side of football. Player B had an agent with connections to several clubs, parents who understood the academy system, and developed relationships with coaches early in his career. Player A focused solely on improving his game while ignoring the political and business realities of professional football. This isn't about corruption or unfairness. It's about understanding that football is both a sport and a business. The players who succeed long-term are those who master both sides of this equation. Gareth Bale's move to Real Madrid wasn't just about his performances for Tottenham. It involved complex relationships between agents, clubs, and commercial considerations that the average fan never sees. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for any player serious about reaching the highest levels. But here's the key insight. You can't network your way to success without talent, but talent alone won't guarantee success without networking. The most successful players combine exceptional ability with smart relationship building and business acumen. Lesson 6. Your lifestyle choices determine your career length. This lesson separates the professionals who play for 2 decades from those whose careers end in their late 20s, often through preventable decline rather than natural aging or injury. Cristiano Ronaldo at age 39 is still performing at elite level not because of genetics, but because of lifestyle choices he's made consistently for over 15 years. His dedication to sleep, nutrition, recovery, and physical maintenance is legendary. But what most people don't realize is that these habits matter most when you're young, not when you're already facing decline. The damage from poor lifestyle choices compounds over time. A 20-year-old player who regularly drinks alcohol, eats processed food, and skips recovery sessions might not see immediate consequences. But by 28, these choices have accumulated into chronic fatigue, increased injury risk, and declining performance that ends careers prematurely. Meanwhile, players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Gianluigi Buffon extended their careers well into their 40s by treating their bodies like precision machines from early in their careers. The difference wasn't visible at 25, it became obvious at 35. Your career longevity is largely determined by decisions you make in your early 20s, not by what you do when you're already facing decline. This is why education about nutrition, sleep science, and recovery protocols should be mandatory for every young footballer. Lesson 7. Having a plan B doesn't make you less committed. This final lesson is perhaps the most controversial, and it's the one that could save your financial and emotional future regardless of how your football career develops. The myth that considering alternatives shows lack of commitment has destroyed countless lives. Only 0.012% of youth footballers make it to professional level. Of those who do turn professional, the average career length is just 8 years. These aren't opinions. They're statistical realities that every footballer and their family needs to understand and prepare for. But here's what's beautiful about football. The skills you develop: discipline, teamwork, handling pressure, goal setting, resilience. These translate perfectly to other careers. Some of the most successful business people, lawyers, doctors, and entrepreneurs are former footballers who applied their sporting mindset to different fields. Marcus Rashford's impact off the pitch, Gary Neville's business empire, or Thierry Henry's media career show how football skills create opportunities beyond playing. These players didn't stumble into success. They planned and prepared for life after football while still playing. The smartest footballers use their playing careers as launching pads for bigger opportunities. They understand that football gives them a platform, discipline, and network that can create lifelong success, even if their playing career ends earlier than hoped. Education, business skills, and personal development aren't distractions from football. They're insurance policies that guarantee success regardless of what happens on the pitch. The players who understand this are the ones who win in football and in life. Remember, 90% of professional footballers wish they could change their approach if given a second chance. You've just learned the 7 lessons they wish they'd known earlier. The question now is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you be part of the 90% who learn these lessons too late, or the 10% who apply them early enough to transform their careers? Your football journey isn't just about what happens between the lines. It's about understanding the game of football and the game of life. Master both, and you'll succeed regardless of what challenges come your way.